Well, hello everyone, and I truly hope everybody's having a wonderful day. So, I normally have these meet the author every month, and it's usually I host them. But today I've decided to have a special guest with me, Niki Hall. Niki Hall here is 4 times international bestseller, and also in that category, but only 3 times. But it is a big achievement after all. So, Nikki here would love to share some insightful things about herself. So I'll let you introduce yourself, where you're from, and a little bit more about your books.
Hi, Ava.
Hello,
Thanks
hello.
for having me
Welcome.
on.
You're
I
welcome.
am a four-time #1 international bestseller. Ava and I do the same kind of work, so we are both in collaboration books. And I have another one coming up December 3rd, which I hope hits #1 as well. I live in BC. I live right on the Pacific Ocean. And I want to encourage anybody who's thinking, oh, I want to live by the ocean, just do it. Just do it. Just like writing a book here. I've been writing, since maybe the end of high school, most of my life, and in all various ways, not just in articles or books or anything like that. It's a part of everybody, and everybody has at least one good book, one good story that they should be sharing. Um, Other than that, I also teach mindset and success. I also am becoming a producer on these collective books, and I have just become a founding partner in a new business and a new venture. I think in these day and time, we should have a few sources of income. So I've secured that for myself. If you want to know about any of that after this, get in touch with Ava or myself. We both know a lot about it. We could help you do that too. But today, we want to talk about being an author.
That's right. So today we definitely want to talk about that, how to inspire through writing. And just like us, we went from dreaming about it to it becoming a reality, and now #1 international bestsellers, something I always wanted to do, which is write a book. But for me, it took over a decade to finally make that dream a reality. But it started with a collaboration instead of a full book. For those of you that don't know, let's touch a little bit. What is a collaboration book? So, collaboration book is a unique publishing opportunity that brings together multiple authors, each contributing a chapter focused on a shared theme or purpose. And we'll talk about the themes in just a few minutes. So instead of carrying the entire book alone, which I personally didn't want to do at that time, you join a team of like-minded authors, all working to create a cohesive, impactful collection of stories or insights. In some cases, we want to see transformational journeys, challenges you went through, things like that that shaped you, changed you, and now you are stepping up to help people by sharing your story. So this setup makes it easier for first-time authors to get published and for experienced writers to expand their audience without the intense workload of a solo book. Think of it as a powerful shared platform where each chapter is a voice amplifying a common message. So that's in a nutshell what a collaboration book is. So Nikki here will talk about why joining a collaboration is a great idea.
Okay, now first I want to acknowledge Ava and everybody who has gotten the seed of, I'm interested in this, I want to do this. And I want to talk about Ava saying that it took her 12 years. That's probably and possibly on average a shorter time. A lot of us have a quiet, inspired thought or need or there's something nattering at us that's just quiet somewhere in our being that says, I want to write a book. And we just don't get to it. 12 years is not actually a lot of time for many of us to get ourselves together and write the book. So please don't think that because you've been sitting on it for so long that you should sit on it longer. If we've come across you and come across your mindset, we've done that for a reason. When I was the one that introduced the opportunity to Ava, and Ava's light went right off, and she knew right away that she should be doing this, and she took the opportunity to check it out. So, because you got the bug and you're here, I really want to encourage you to take more steps toward this. So, feel free after this to speak to one of us so we can help you get there. You will not believe how wonderful you will feel as a human being, as a person, as an individual, because you've done this. Like, Ava, how did you feel when you produced your first book?
Well, to be very honest, it was like being a deer in the headlights because I knew nothing about this industry. I knew nothing about what it took. And I thought it was this thing that was unachievable because I didn't know much about it. But once I educated myself and Nikki took me through the beginning phases, I couldn't believe it how easy it was. And Action Takers Publishing is who we go through. They make the process incredible, fun, exciting, and easy as well, I would say. I mean, yeah, the work has to be done. You write your chapter, but it gets edited, and the marketing team does their share. And it's just, I didn't believe it how easy it was. But for me, yeah, I may have sat on it for a decade or so, but the thing is, it's like that divine timing. When you're ready for it, it comes up, the video comes up for a reason, and when you listen to it, it's like, oh yeah, just like Nikki, when she opened about collaboration book, it was just the perfect timing, exactly what I needed at the exact time, and I took that intuitive hit. I went with it, and I loved it ever since. And I went into the second book, which was much better. I knew I had an idea what it was about. I made my writing better, and then I went into the third book, and the rest is history. So
Yes, I felt almost the same as Ava on the first book. I had already produced my own book. I already wrote a book in 92 and I self-published it. I was recognized by the government for the achievement of that book, but it was so much work, and you had to wear so many hats, and you had to know things you would never really know, and you don't have an aptitude for doing all that work, but you want your project out. So I did it. I would never encourage anybody to self-publish. It's too much work, and we're not that experienced across a blank network of abilities. So I felt similar to Ava when I first did my book, and when my first book, and when it was published, I kind of felt like, oh, it's done. Oh, this kind of feels good. Then I did my second one, and that, as a person, as working so hard to become the person I wanted to be, it allowed me to plant seeds where I thought I could nurture, where I could serve. And it allowed me the intellectualism, it allowed me the identity, it allowed me to fulfill a place in me. So the second time, like Ava said, is totally different from the first time. And it just has this sense of fulfillment and belonging and having a legacy that you would never have otherwise. I would really love to encourage everybody to fulfill that part of themselves. It's so worth it.
most
Okay,
definitely.
you asked me to talk about what some of the reasons why you'd get into a collaborative book. You want me to talk about that now?
Well, yeah, we can add a few more points to it. You already covered a few, but we can definitely dive a little bit deeper into why joining collaboration can be so amazing.
Okay, well, for one thing is if you're an entrepreneur, if your identity is in your work and it is your business and in your professionalism, it is definitely, and in your intellectualism, it's a big credit boost. It just if you're climbing the mountain a little bit to validate yourself, forget it. You don't have to. It's quiet. It's the silent partner that goes ahead of you and just clears the way. So you get a credibility boost. You get an increase in exposure. If I'm a solopreneur and Ava is a solopreneur, and that is very, very big for us because it minimizes our workload and it increases our reputation, our respectability, our value. Um, and it's really cost effective for marketing. I'm going to just share for myself. Every time I put a book out, my I get contracts for my business in selling mindset and success coaching. So that is very beneficial, even though some of the subjects don't directly have anything to do with my work. It doesn't matter. It still goes around and comes around back around to us. Um, it's a really simple process. As Ava said, it takes away all the hard work that I just talked about with self-publishing. You don't have to do any of that. You just have to stay in the entity of being a writer. And even though we don't know how to write and we don't feel like maybe our writing is good, maybe English isn't our first language, we could come up with 100 reasons why we're uncomfortable. Doesn't matter. Action Takers is so professional and so accustomed to working with us that they got it all figured out. The point is you want to tell your story and they will help you do it. It's really time saving. You've got one chapter in a book with a bunch of other people who are writing another chapter in a book. So as you write, the time that you need to write is shorter. I've been writing for a long time, so I can write the chapter in about 4 hours. How long does it take you, Ava?
Um, it depends on inspiration. Sometimes it depends what I'm writing on. Sometimes like the ripple effect of impact that I took part in, it was like an instant. I knew exactly what story I'm gonna write next, and I already knew it in my head how I wanted to shape. So that didn't take a long time at all. But when I was working on my piece of Never Give Up chapter, that took a little bit more time because I wanted to put it in a way that it came across um in a certain way. So sometimes you have to do a little bit research. Sometimes you have to write it and read it a couple times to make sure it is making sense how you write it. So it depends how complex maybe the thing you're trying to write about. But yeah, some things can be as easy as an hour or two, and some just take a little bit more time.
Yeah, yeah. So what I do is I wrote it. Let's say I wrote it in 4 hours. Then I put it aside for the day. And then the next day I came back and read it so that I could feel confident and all those, squirmy feelings you get um, could be laid to rest when you read it or make a little tweak or something. And then you hand it in and then they help you with the rest. Um, Another thing that is good about writing these kind of books is it sets you apart from other people, in a quiet, nice, positive, respectful manner. It's very positive. You get to be with a group of people of shared knowledge, and that feels good too.
But I
So,
like the one point that Linda always talks about too. Um, that separate yourself from the 97 percentage who dream of actually just publishing a book and become one of the top three who actually achieve it. So I love when she always says that on our meetings because that is so true. Like, a lot of people just dream about it. I could, I should, well, I don't have time, but the 3% who actually do it, it feels amazing.
Yes, yes, it does. Yeah. We are just very passionate about this. We just can't help getting on here and, we just want to give you all the information and give you the passion, give you the understanding, giving you the courage, giving you the strength and the fortitude to move forward for yourself.
That's right. A lot of benefits, expanded network, increased motivation, personal growth, and on we could go on. But
Yes.
Nikki here has a book she's actually working on. Could you please tell us a little bit about the book you are currently working on? And if you'd like to mention the other ones you had previously, then the name. So if any of our listeners would like to go back, and we're of course going to share the links to Action Takers Publishing in this video as well. But then Nikki here will share her books title, so you can look them up on Amazon as well as Action Takers Publishing, but she'll also jump into the book she is currently curating. Please, thank you.
Thanks, Ava. I'm going to tell you a story to explain this. About 2 years ago now, maybe a little more than 2 years now, all of a sudden I just got taken out of living a high functioning, happy go lucky, high energy life with terrible headaches. They were beyond what you would call a migraine. Um, and they would always have to check me for an MRI for brain bleed, or they would check my spine for fluid and stuff. So I was going into the hospital every 3 weeks. I was in there for 4 or 5 days. They'd try and get me back on my feet. They'd let me go. I'd be out for 2, 3 weeks. Then we'd bring me back in and we'd try and figure out what is going on. It took me right out of the game of life. And I started spiraling down. And the medical system, I'm gonna tell you quite honestly, the medical system was very good and very kind to me, and they were working hard to find out what was going on. But the neurologist sat next to my bed, and he said, "Well, where are you? What do you think? Like you're a part of this equation." And bing, the light went off and I thought, well, how can I be efficient on being part of the equation? I have my mindset, I have my, self-actualization, I have all my being engaged, but that's not getting answers. And everything the medical system was doing was getting answers, but it wasn't enough to help me heal and get out of this treachery. It was so bad. So my life was going down the toilet, and I had to have a part of me say, no, I'm not going to accept this. So I went holistic. I added the holistic manner of living, holistic health, holistic habits to the medical system and to my attitude, my being, my mindset. And the three together actually got me over the hump and got me back into real life and high functioning life again. Honestly, I don't have the headaches anymore. I had two neurologists working with me and a huge holistic lifestyle, but we arrested it. And it's very important for people to know nowadays that we are part of this equation for making ourselves better. And I realized after I got this epiphany, hey, I'm better. I did it by holistic healing. A lot of people were going, me too, me too, me too. And they told their story. So I felt this has to be a story told because there's a lot of us that still aren't engaging in a holistic manner. And other people need to know, what does holistic mean? Like, what does it mean to you? I have one gentleman who was in critical care for his spine, and they said to be ready. You may not be able to walk again from the waist down. And he said, oh, forget it. I'm walking out of neurological critical care. And they said, okay. And he did. He walked funny, like he walked like a land crab. But he got out and he got out, and it took him a couple of years to work the holistic manner that was best suited for him. And after 2 years, the last thing he had to do was grip. And that was the last thing he did. And he said, that's it. I'm right back to normal. People need to know these stories. One lady had cancer, breast cancer. Her daughter had breast cancer. The one, the mother went holistic, went with mindset, went with attitude, followed the medical system, put it all together, including her discipline in a holistic manner. She survived. The daughter was very negative. She was just going down that slope, and she couldn't arrest herself. She was like, after a while she's going high speed and we lost her. So there's a big difference between taking control of your life and incorporating holistic manners of healing and just letting two-thirds of the system try to help you. We need the other third, and that is holistic intelligence. And that's what I call my book, Holistic Intelligence. And the rest of the title is, I got to read it to you, and it says, Chronicles of Unwavering Persistence in the Face of Refusing a Diagnosis. So that's many various stories, and and many various ways of doing things.
And here's a perfect time for me to show you the cover of this beautiful book that Niki is working on. So you can go into Action Takers Publishing, which we will definitely share the link with you. And these are all the beautiful faces and the impacts and the stories they've told us. And there's me. Nikki, where are you? You
I'm
are
there.
right there. Yes.
Yeah.
And this is Linda, the Action Takers Publishing CEO, and Sally's here somewhere. But anyhow, so this is the
Yes.
website, and it's very straightforward, and it shows you the current projects that are going on. There's mine right here, but we'll talk about that in a minute or so. But this is Nikki, so we'll share the link if you like more information about holistic intelligence. Of course, reach out to Nikki as you go into the book. It tells you a little bit more. Um, Anything else you'd like to share, Nikki, about your book?
No, I'd just like to say writing is a big part of us. Like, it's important that we say and we share our wisdoms, and writing is such an easy way to do it. I personally love it myself, and it's an easy way to share. It's a wonderful tool, and it's very fulfilling.
Exactly. I love these books, collaboration books. And I had the privilege of interviewing a lot of the authors from their previous books, and just amazing stories. That's all I gotta say. And we learn from one another, and the stories we tell, sometimes things we never even would think about. But when you're interviewing somebody and listening to their story, it just inspires you to do more out there and share stories and live a more fulfilling life. Like when you were talking just earlier, Nikki, I was thinking, I may just share the story, but at the same time, it just felt more like being able to help people out there by sharing the story, and that's what matters the most.
Yes.
And I had a lady on one of my podcasts. She almost made me cry. Her story was so touching. The way she migrated from another country and wanted to be a doctor. And when she was trying to be a doctor in a new country, there was so many different laws and things like that. But you know, in spite of everything, she didn't give up. And she kept telling me the story and how amazing, her journey was. It's just, yeah, it just made my heart melt. So these stories and these times we look forward to inspire one another. Anything else you'd like to
Absolutely.
share, Nikki?
The other thing is that you asked me to do is share my books. I would encourage you. I don't mind doing that, but I think we're looking at a time thing here, and I would encourage you to go to Amazon and look me up. It's Niki, Niki, and my last name is Hall, Hall, and you will see a list of my books there.
And again, as I mentioned before, we will also drop all the links in this YouTube video. And of course, you can find us easy on social media. We're pretty much everywhere now. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, we're almost there, right?
That's right.
Yes. So my passion throughout my life has always been, for the most part, traveling. And as much as I've taken part in Midlife Awakening, which is kind of where my story began with writing, and it was the perfect timing, like I said before, because that's exactly what I was going through, a midlife awakening, a midlife transformation, where I really took my life in my own hands from within because we always for the most part look for the outside and but it was time for deep transformation from within. So when that book Nikki talked about the midlife awakening, I was like, yeah, that's the one I want to do. And before I knew it, I loved the process so much, I jumped into Never Give Up, and I told stories in that book that were not easy to tell, but I did it anyhow, only because I want to know, for anybody who's reading that book, that no matter what situation you're going through life, there's always somebody out there who can help you. The tools are out there. We just have to reach out. So that was a little bit of a heavier book for me to put a chapter in on my personal level. But then we decided, because I was so excited about writing and sharing my journeys, we did the next one, which was called The Ripple Effect of Impact. And I loved that one because I was able to share my trip with World Vision Canada many, many moons ago in 2005 to El Salvador, where I was able to see the communities, cook with the communities, build homes there. So for me, that was a huge, well, it was a trip. It was definitely out of my comfort zone, but because I was a very shy kid when I was growing up. Um, as much as part of my confidence was really, as Nikki likes to say, down in the toilet, the other part of
Yeah.
my confidence was really through the roof because sometimes no matter what, I would still do things in spite of what anybody would thought about it. And one of those things was, going to World Vision Canada to El Salvador. People, why are you wasting so much money? Why are you, going on such a trip? What's it gonna do? But it did a lot for me on many levels, confidence boost, helping out communities, stepping out of my comfort zone, and learning all the amazing things and meeting people from all over the world because it was a team. I I don't remember the exact number of us that went, but we were from all over, from US, Canada, and some other parts. We all met in El Salvador, and as a community of volunteers, we helped another community. So it was such an amazing project, and that's what I talk about in that um, book. So if you're interested to see what happens with that trip, you're welcome to go and read that book. And then I talk about my journey becoming mindset coach, why I do it, and how fulfilling the journey is now. But because traveling has been a huge part of my life and I've been to over 50 countries, I have decided to do
Wow.
the next book called uplift footprints around the world, uplifting stories of adventures. So that's the book I am currently curating with Action Takers Publishing, plus another one called Dynamic Mindset Collective. But that one's not up on the website yet, as we're still working on the details. But this footprints around the world is close to my heart. And in this one, we are looking for souls who love to travel just like I am, but whether they have a story of transformation, experience they like to share, a challenge, or whatever they went through, we want to hear those stories, how it changed you, transformed you, and how has helped you to be the person you are right now. So I can share the screen one more time to show you the cover of that particular book. There it is. And as you go inside, you can learn more about the book and everything that comes with it. So why join? What's included? We don't want to take up too much of your time today, but we are very excited and passionate about what we do and the stories we share and the lives we change. Right, Nikki?
Absolutely. Yeah. You'll get the same information on my book as well.
Yeah. So, what else should we tell our beautiful listeners?
When we joined Action Takers Publisher, the publishing house, and the two ladies that deal with the business, they also offered webinars and courses. And through that, you learn a lot more in case you're feeling like you don't know or you need that information. Once you join a book, they will provide you with a lot of that. And also, there, this was unintended, I think, but an offshoot of this was people like Ava, who now get me on here and talk and get me out into the public and make life easier for us. So, as a writer, as somebody who has needed to express herself in the written form all of her life, really, I really want to encourage you to give it a try. I want to encourage you to write your story. There's only, 2 or 3,000 words that are expected of you, but as an individual, you will feel so good that you have taken your thoughts to pen and paper, and then somebody said, I got this, and they put it out for you. And then the next thing you know, you're looking at it, you're looking like I got a book. And
And it
it
truly,
really, huh?
and yeah, and exactly, and it truly does feel amazing when you hold your first book in your hands and you're like, look, I
Yes.
did it. It's part of, you know,
Yes.
And I was so happy too. I did miss it on the first one, but on the third one, the ripple effect of impact, I was actually able to dedicate the book to my daughter Natalia because
Oh,
one day
nice.
she's older, she'll be able to read the
Yeah.
chapter, and it is dedicated to her, because she was somebody that you know shook up my world in one way you can say that, and I wanted to become a better person too. So was stepping out of a comfort zone, doing something I never thought I would. So it just brought out a lot of things I never thought I would. So she don't donate it to the good cause already.
Yes. Yes.
So it's not just about, sharing, a story. It's impacting lives and going forward. And, in the such a busy world that we live in, um, with all the stuff that's going on, we need
Yes.
to shine brighter and be that beacon of hope or inspiration to others around the world.
Yeah, yeah, we do. We do. It's nice to step up and take your place, even though it's this big. You can throw a rock in a pond, and you can displace a lot. way bigger than just you being a simple little rock. So don't underestimate your ability, your heart, your soul, your will, your creativity, your insight, your passion.
And you never
Fulfill
know
your,
where it's gonna take you. That's another thing. Like, who would have thought, I'll be here sitting talking about my books now, 2 years later. Actually, it's not even 2 years later. If somebody told me that 5 years ago, I would have laughed at it. I'm like, no way. But
yeah.
it's amazing what happens when you step out of your comfort zone and follow your dreams. And that's where it starts. Dreams, but then taking that inspired action and following your dreams. So I hope you guys got some value out of this short little episode on how to inspire through writing. And if you guys have any questions, please reach out to us. We will drop, once again, all the links in this video. But don't be afraid to reach out. You never know what you're going to learn and where the journey will take you. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Nikki, for being my special guest today. It's an honor to have you here.
Thanks, Ava. I just go wild with the passion of writing.
I know, I can tell. All right, thank you, everyone, and hopefully you have a wonderful day. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.